In order to answer this question, we first need to figure out what vector AB actually is, because right now we just have 2 points A and B. Conceptually, a vector AB is like a set of directions telling us how to get from point A to point B. And in terms of actually calculating this, we can figure this out by taking the x and y coordinates of point A and subtracting them from the x and y coordinates of point B. So if we plug in the information that we have, we'll have -1 minus 2 and 4 minus 0. So if we work that out, we'll have our vector AB, which is going to be -3, 4. From here, we need to figure out the magnitude of that vector, and we can think about it as if the coordinates of this vector are sides to a right triangle, and what we're trying to find is the length of the hypotenuse. That's the same thing as the magnitude of this vector. So we can use a modified version of Pythagorean theorem to say that the magnitude of this vector is going to be equal to -3 squared plus 4 squared underneath a square root, which is going to be the same thing as the square root of 9 plus 16, or the square root of 25, which comes out to 5. So now we have the magnitude of our vector. From here, what we can do is we can find a unit vector in the same direction as our vector by taking our original vector AB and dividing it by the magnitude that we just determined. So we'll take -3, 4, and we're going to divide that by 5, which will give us a new vector, the unit vector in the same direction, -3 over 5, 4 over 5. Now, to put this vector in the opposite direction, so we're going to stick with a unit vector, but we want a unit vector now in the opposite direction, all we have to do is flip both the signs for our coordinates in our original unit vector. So we're going to have +3 over 5 and -4 over 5, and now we have a unit vector in the opposite direction of our original vector AB. The only thing we have left to do is we want a vector of a magnitude 3 in the opposite direction. So we need to multiply 3 times that new unit vector that we found that's going in the opposite direction. So we're going to take the coordinates from that unit vector and distribute through that 3, multiplying it by each of the coordinates. And that will give us our final answer, which is the vector of magnitude 3 in the opposite direction from our original vector is 9 over 5 and -12 over 5.